This video is brought to you by my new album entitled Dougal's Treats. It's full of hummable melodies, bluesy riffs and the occasional bit of virtuoso flashy stuff as well. If you enjoy bluesy rock guitar with memorable tunes and solos that wail like a banshee, then check out the links in the description. The premium version includes all of the tabs for each tune, videos and jam tracks as well. Thanks for listening, now on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was me earlier today having a little bit of a slow blues jam, just indulging myself a little bit. And the more attentive among you possibly noticed that there were a couple of licks in there that had something, I don't know, of a Robin Ford flavour about them. I'm not comparing myself to Robin Ford, by the way. In fact, the only way I could compare myself to Robin Ford is to say, in comparison to Robin Ford, I'm just a fat, bald lad from Redcar who bluffs his way through. But I was using a couple of licks that sort of evoke that, dare I say, jazzy blues kind of feel in a couple of places. And today I'm going to show you exactly what I was doing if this is something that you'd like to incorporate in your own playing. Here's some information.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, so in a standard 12-bar blues, there are a couple of places where you can add a little bit of spiciness. And I use the term spiciness or the term spicy advisedly here because it is something that different people have different tolerances for. My dad, for example, couldn't eat Heinz curried beans because they were just way off the charts for him, too spicy. But the thing was, ask him to make a ham sandwich and he'd be slathering on the Coleman's mustard, almost with a trowel. Yeah, that was bizarre. But you know what I'm saying? Some people will go for a meal at an Indian restaurant, and you know, some people will order the mildest, the blandest thing on the menu, a korma or something like that. And then there's other people who are eating a bangle of fowl, which is you know, like it's like having napalm put on your tongue. So if you are one of those people who, you know, is very conservative with a small c, and you don't like any degree of, you know, kind of dissonance or spiciness in your soloing, then this might not be for you. But if you are an admirer of players like Robin Ford and Josh Smith and Larry Carlton, then this is a fairly accessible way of putting some of their runs, or some runs that evoke that kind of playing, into a regular blues solo. As I said, there's a couple of places in a blues, in a 12-bar blues sequence where you can do this. And the simple way to think of it is, it's always when you're going from a chord with a root note there to a root note there. And we were in the key of B for that jam earlier, where we're going from a B7 chord at one point to an E7 chord. So B going to E, we can do that sort of spicy run there. And then as we conclude in bar 12, going back to bar 1 again, it's going from an F sharp 7th chord, F sharp, back to a B 7th chord, like that. So we can kind of invoke the same kind of sense of spiciness there. And what I was doing to achieve this was I was using basically this little run here. It is a diminished run. So here, I'll play it here. So starting with the 4th finger at the 11th fret on the top E string, we're going to go 11, 8. Then on the B string, we're going to go 10, 7. Then on the 3rd string, we're going to go 8, and then over to 10 on the 4th string, and down to 7. Then we're going to go 9 and 6 on the A string, and 8 and 5 on the E string. So that's going to go. Oop. And the notes we're playing there, if I start at the bottom, I'll go through the notes. We're playing A, C, D sharp, F sharp, and then A, C, D sharp, F sharp, A, C, D sharp again. And that is a diminished run. That is an A diminished run. Or you can think of it as a C diminished run, or you can think of it as a D sharp diminished run or arpeggio, or you can think of it as an F sharp diminished run or arpeggio. Because if you were to play all of these notes along the length of a single string, which I'll do now, there's an A, there's a C, there's a D sharp, there's an F sharp, and then you're back to an A again. All of those notes are 3 semitones apart. You only need one shape for this run, because if you move it 3 semitones down, so if I, instead of starting here, I go 1, 2, 3, and come down 3 semitones, I have the same notes, but each note in the cycle has moved down to another note in the cycle, to the next note in the cycle. And that is what essentially a diminished 7th chord and a diminished 7th arpeggio is. And the reason why they work in this context is because what I'm wanting to do as I'm going from a B7 chord to an E7 chord is introduce a little bit of tension that just heightens that sense of expectation of the chord change. And then when you get to the new chord, when you get to the E7, we kind of resolve it onto something that's a little bit more, you know, resolved sounding, shall we say. And if we look at the notes that are in a B7 chord, we've got B, D sharp, F sharp, and A. Notice any similarities? Okay. If I change that B note to a C, I've now got C, D sharp, F sharp, A, C, D sharp, F sharp, A, and so on. So that diminished run is only one note different from the B7 chord I'm playing it over. And the note which is different is, instead of the B note, I'm getting a C note in there. That, to use the technical term, is a flat ninth, and that's a really kind of spicy sounding note. Stevie Ray Vaughan used to use them all the time with looks like... when he would kind of put that little trill in on the flat ninth in many of his solos. So I'm thinking he was probably aware of this. He was, he used to like dabbling in jazz every now and again, tracks like Stang Swang and Riviera Paradise and that kind of thing, and his version of Chitlin's Con Carne by Kenny Burrell. So, that C note is the note which just adds that little bit of danger and that little bit of spiciness. So, here's a B7 chord. Into some sort of 4 chord like the E9th I played there. And likewise, you can do it when it's going from the F sharp 7th to back to the B7th. All you've got to do is look for that flat ninth. So if I'm playing on a B, then I'll start that run with where one of the notes is a C, okay? So it could be the C there, it could be the C there, it could be the C there. So I'm just going to think of in terms of this C here. Then into the E chord. Likewise, when I'm going from the F sharp to the B, I'm going to look for the flat ninth of the F sharp, which is a G. Okay, just flat ninth is just a posh way of saying 1 fret up. So if I've got a G note, if I've got an F sharp note there, well, there's my G note. So there's my F sharp 7th chord. To resolve back onto the B7 like that. It's a great way of adding a little bit of jazzy tension, and I like doing it all the time. It's a sound that I enjoy, and I just thought I'd share it with you today. So now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for that solo that we kicked the video off with in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and the backing track I was using myself, and that little explanation there. That is all, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, and as I'm sure you will know by now, regular viewers will probably be able to recite this along with me as we go, so why not have a go? $3 or about £3 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies and resources that go along with these YouTube videos, and of course a massive, heartfelt and sincere, humongous thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget, of course, the live stream every Friday, 5 PM, every Friday, 5 PM UK time, and we basically drink beer and have a chat. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.